Supertech's illegal twin towers in Noida have been razed to the ground. The 100-meter tall structures fell like a house of cards within seconds. A massive cloud of dust was released as the illegally constructed structures were reduced to rubble using the implosion technique, sparking air pollution concerns. Once authorities give the all clear, the 5,000-odd residents of the housing societies will begin returning to their homes. I believe that process already is underway. Let's take a look at what transpired today.
In just 10 seconds, the 10-meter tall Supertech twin towers were reduced to rubble. With this, it is curtains down for what came to be known as symbol of corruption and end of a decade-long battle.
बहुत खुश हैं, बहुत ही ज़्यादा खुश हैं। जो हम चाहते थे वो हुआ है और थोड़ा बहुत जो उसके साइड इफेक्ट्स आए होंगे उसके लिए भी हम तैयार हैं कि बस मन से जो हमारी जीत थी। डर लग रहा था एक बार को थोड़ा रुक गया था तो हम लोगों की सांसें भी रुक गई थी कि क्या हुआ कि फिल्मी स्टाइल में जैसे वो फांसी रोकने और बीच में आवाज़ लगाते हैं रुक जाओ फांसी मत लगाओ, वो सीन तो नहीं होने वाला है। लेकिन फिर 2-3 सेकंड्स के बाद ब्लास्ट हुआ और हमने कहा बोल वृंदावन बिहारी लाल की जय।
जो भी प्लान था उसके अनुसार बिल्डिंग गिरी है। इट अपीयर्स कि नो डैमेज हैज बीन डन टू एनी बिल्डिंग आइदर फॉर एमरल्ड कोर्ट और एटीएस विलेज।
तो आप लोगों ने जो लंबी लड़ाई लड़ी आज उसको लेकर के खुश हैं आप?
बहुत खुश हैं जी, बहुत खुश हैं जी।
परफेक्ट, बहुत ही परफेक्ट मैं बोलूंगा, ये बहुत ही परफेक्ट पूरा ऑपरेशन रहा है।
The twin tower demolition was India's biggest such exercise ever. With the help of waterfall implosion technique, the towers came crumbling down like a pack of cards.
The sound of the siren has just stopped because it went for around 3 minutes starting from 2:27 because 2:30 is the timing. And as you can see, this building is falling. It's an epical ritual which you are watching it on the Viewers of Times now. We are going to wear this mask because the smoke is going to be coming everywhere. The dust has suddenly covered this building. It has been an explosion which people have been waiting for around 200 to 300 meters. We can see that explosion has certainly covered this particular area. This area was the no man's area. There was nothing which was left here. No sign of life was also made sure by the officials, and this building has been brought. It's totally smoke which has totally dust of the concrete particle as well as the particles of the concrete material and the iron which has been blasted. Finally, we cannot see that whether the adjacent towers have also been affected or not, but what we can see exactly that certainly the demolition appeared to be very straight. Till the last few nanoseconds I could observe this demolition was certainly a successful one as far as what we can see from the initial time. This area is totally covered with smoke. We have been instructed by the Noida authority officials that everyone who is in and around this area need to wear masks. What I can see, the adjacent building is safe. The ATS tower is safe, which is clearly visible through open eye. We cannot see any kind of, damage which has been caused to the ATS tower. We are still waiting to see that whether the Emerald Tower is also affected or not, but that is certainly not visible. So finally, this demolition drive has been carried out in Noida, which was the biggest event of this century, because this is the first time this event has been carried out in such a manner.
Soon after, sprinklers and smoke guns were used to counter the dust. The demolition was smooth, and according to authorities, there have been no damages to the nearby buildings.
नहीं, आसपास की सोसाइटीज में कोई डैमेज ब्रॉडली नहीं है, लेकिन जैसा मैंने बताया अभी जस्ट ब्लास्ट होके हटा है। एक घंटे के अंदर स्थिति बेहतर पता लगेगी।
There was absolute normalcy. There is no damage to anyone, and it went out very smoothly with the effort of district administration and the police department and edifice company.
So, at what time the final call was made?
2:30, the time that was estimated.
So you are taking a round so that the
Yes, we are just looking around so that, because this is an exclusion zone, no one is supposed to be here, and I would also request you to please move out of the zone, because edifice has advised us not to let anyone inside.
By what time the residents will be allowed?
We are still speculating. We are estimating what the time will be.
It's all done and dusted. The towers of corruption have fallen. This demolition is a strong message to those who once thought they were invincible.
हाँ, डर था। अगर वो अभी तो अगर हो गई, अगर दाएं या बाएं गिर जाती फिर क्या होता, तो वो डर तो था ही। लेकिन अब तो सब सेफली सब ठीक हो गया।
सब ठीक हो गया।
सब ठीक हो गया। अब तो सिर्फ धूल है वो सब है, जिसको 3 महीने बेयर करना है वो करना है। तो बाकी सब ठीक है कि सब सेफ है। आई थिंक अभी तक जो न्यूज़ है उसके हिसाब से सब ठीक है अभी तक।
However, the 3,700 kilograms of explosives used in the blast has left around 55,000 tons of debris, which again is going to be yet another mammoth task for the authorities to tackle.
ट्विन टावर जो है ठीक एग्जैक्टली विद इन अ मिनट गिरा दिया गया है। 2:30 बजे के जस्ट बाद दोनों टावर्स पूरी तरह से ध्वस्त हो गए। जिस तरह से इम्प्लोड करना था इम्प्लोड किया गया है। अब वहाँ पे सीपी नोएडा, सीओ नोएडा और डीएम जो है अपनी जो टीम है एक्सप्लोसिव्स की जो टीम है उससे पूरा इम्पैक्ट एसेस कर रहे हैं। सीओ नोएडा बता रही हैं कि जो EQI लेवल्स हैं उनमें बहुत ज़्यादा प्रभाव नहीं हुआ है, फिर भी काफ़ी काम अभी करना होगा मलबा हटाने के लिए, और स्प्रिंकलिंग अभी भी लगातार करनी होगी। बगल की बिल्डिंग्स पर क्या इम्पैक्ट है वो भी एसेस किया जा रहा है, और जो डेमोलिशन की टीम्स हैं उस कार्य को जो है चेक कर रहे हैं। बहुत जल्दी जो है स्थिति पुरानी नॉर्मल हो जाएगी।
For hundreds of people, their dreams to own a home could not be fulfilled. While several residents have received a refund of their down payments following the court orders, some others are still waiting for what's due to them. But with this demolition, finally, the hopes of justice have risen.
Well, the Twin Towers have been razed to the ground, but politics over the issue has begun and it continues to take center stage with BJP and Samajwadi Party leveling corruption charges at each other. BJP, in fact, launched a series of scathing attacks on the opposition parties of the states for their the nexus between politicians, builders and bureaucrats for allowing such illegal structures to be constructed. In fact, the Chief Minister of Uttar Pradesh said that there would be no space for such corrupt practices in new Uttar Pradesh. Well, the Samajwadi Party hit back and the Samajwadi Party alleged that BJP is neck deep in corruption. Let's first listen in to these charges and counter charges.
उत्तर प्रदेश में भारतीय जनता पार्टी की सरकार पूरी तरह से भ्रष्टाचार में डूबी पड़ी है। हर डिपार्टमेंट में भ्रष्टाचार ही भ्रष्टाचार हो रहा है। जनता की नजरों से भारतीय जनता पार्टी की सरकार गिर चुकी है, और जब ये सरकार गिरने गिराने की बात करती है तो हास्यास्पद लगता है।
मैं यह मानता हूं कि समाजवादी पार्टी की सरकार के समय ये भ्रष्टाचार की इमारत खड़ी हुई है और भारतीय जनता पार्टी की सरकार के समय ये इमारत धराशायी हो रही है। लेकिन यह सारी कार्रवाई माननीय सर्वोच्च न्यायालय के आदेश के क्रम में हो रही है। लेकिन इस कार्रवाई से मुझे इस बात की चिंता है कि इसके कारण से एक राष्ट्रीय क्षति भी है कि एक कोई इमारत बन के तैयार हुई और उसके बाद उसे गिराना पड़ रहा है। पर्यावरण की दृष्टि से भी नुकसानदेह है, क्योंकि जब यह इमारत धराशायी होगी तो तमाम प्रदूषण फैलेगा। लेकिन यह भी एक संदेश है कि भ्रष्टाचार करके अगर कोई भी इमारत बड़ी से बड़ी भी खड़ी कर लेगा तो इस देश की अदालत, देश और प्रदेश की सरकार उस ढांचे को ढहाने में भी पीछे नहीं हटेगी।
Let's go across to our guests. We have Tuhin Sinha, spokesperson of the BJP, and Sameer Singh, spokesperson of the Samajwadi Party, joining us. Good evening to both of you. Sameer Singh, the BJP is saying, by demolishing, by razing down the Twin Towers, a message has been sent today by the government that such corrupt practices will not be tolerated. The BJP is also alleging that this illegal structure was allowed to in fact be constructed and permissions given during Samajwadi Party's regime. How do you respond to those charges?
Before responding to the alleged allegations that the BJP is throwing on Samajwadi Party, first of all, I'd like to extend a very warm thank you to everybody who was involved in this demolition drive that happened today. Right from the Honorable High Court and Supreme Court, which passed such a monumental judgment, to the residents of the neighboring societies, which were persistent and had the courage to, fight a very long battle against this builder. And a very good message has been sent to the builder lobby that no one is above the law. So that is my take on this matter. Now coming back to what the allegations are being put on by the Bharatiya Janata Party leaders. From top to bottom, we've seen the Keshav Prasad Maurya ji's statement. And I would like to, first of all, I'd like to point out that I find no reason for the BJP to take credit of this. Just because they are the ruling party in the state and the Supreme Court has passed a judgment that the demolition has to take place, and that coincides with both of these things coincide with each other, doesn't give the Bharatiya Janata Party any credit, because they have not done anything in this matter. It's not like they have forwarded the demolition or they have stood against the builder that is involved in this illegal construction. But what they have done is they have shamed again, first of all, by taking credit of something they have not done, which it's a practice with the BJP since they've come into power in 2014 in the center and 2017 in the Uttar Pradesh state. And secondly, for using this opportunity to again associate the Samajwadi Party with something that has nothing to do with the Samajwadi Party at all. If a timeline is to be discussed, I'd like to say it is, we agree that in 2004-2005, the plan was passed by the Noida Authority for construction of the Emerald Core. Right? And everything was done as per the law, as per the requisite laws. So no laws were being flouted back then. But later on, in 2019, between 2009 to 2012, we saw that the plan was changed. There were amendments made, and the FAR was raised for the two towers.
But then who made the amendments? That's the big question. Who made the amendments? Who was calling the shots?
That's a question that the BJP should ask, which the BJP is trying to ask. If an amendment has been made by the Noida Authority during 2009 and 2012, everybody knows which government was in power during 2009 to 2012. But there is a hidden agenda of the BJP or an alliance. Okay,
there's an agenda, Tuhin Sinha. I just want to blame the Samajwadi Party.
Which is why
you're just trying to divert attention and blame Samajwadi Party. And you should in fact be answering questions on who gave permission, who allowed this illegal structure to come up, for the structure to be constructed, for the floors to be increased, for the permission given by the authority.
Good evening, Swatij. Good evening to all your viewers. Well, the demolition of the Twin Towers is a very decisive in our fight against corruption. I agree that a series of violations have been taking place from 2009. First, the number of floors was increased from 10 to 11 and then to 24. But the most brazen and the most reckless change happened in 2012. And to jog your memory, from January 2012, the election process in Uttar Pradesh was on. On March 15th, Akhilesh Yadav was sworn in as Chief Minister. So, all you need to do is figure out if the final change from 24 to 40 stories happened before 15th March or after 15th March, and you will know that the role of Samajwadi Party in this entire corruption. Secondly, if the Samajwadi Party spokesperson is supporting the demolition today on your channel, why does Akhilesh Yadav not have the moral courage to do the same? He was in Noida today. He should have supported a demolition of this nature. For that matter, all the opposition leaders today are keeping mum, because they know that all of this builder, bureaucrat, politician nexus was supported in the UPA era by the then establishment, and all the opposition parties of that era were complicit in it.
Sameer Singh, you are saying we're not responsible. Whatever happened during our regime happened as per law. We followed all the norms, so the previous government is to be blamed. BJP saying the same thing. The previous government is to be blamed. Now, had it not been for the courts, first of all, for the residents who took the fight to the court, and then for the courts to intervene and give this decision, these structures would have continued to exist. So, whose fault really is it? If everybody is blaming the other party.
Swati, I believe the larger question here is hidden inside what you just said. I think, being a responsible political organization, this drive should have been commended. This drive should be appreciated. The Supreme Court's decision and the residents for their endless fight that lasted for approximately 8 to 10 years. That should be, commended, and no political party should have blamed anyone for that matter. Because a corruption has happened, and this corruption should not take, should not happen again in the future, and which is why I said in my opening statement that it is a very strong message to the builder lobby that no one is above the law. That even if you build some sort of a nexus with the authorities, there is still the power that is vested in the judiciary of this country, to which a normal citizen can approach. And something of this magnitude, such monumental thing that has happened today, can take place. So it is a very strong message. And the reason why I brought BJP into question was because the BJP dragged Samajwadi Party into question and took it as an opportunity. They tried, because they never cease to leave any opportunities that comes in their way. So even this drive, they took it as an opportunity. And since morning, I've been seeing on various news channels that it is a step towards a corruption-free Uttar Pradesh.
But tell me something, Sameer Singh. When the land was allotted, whose party was in government?
Chief Minister of the state.
When the land was allotted, who was in government? Who was the chief minister? Which party was ruling the state? In 2012, when the builder once again revised the plan and increased the floors, who was in power? Who was in government? Which party chief minister was ruling the state?
Definitely, Swati, as I mentioned earlier, I told you the entire timeline, and the one which my co-panelist was speaking about, the last amendment that was made in March, if I'm right, on March 2nd, 2012, wherein Akhilesh Yadav ji had sworn in as the Chief Minister of the state on March 15th, 2012. Now, if something has been done, some wrong has been done, and an action needs to be taken on it, then I would like to also, tell my esteemed co-panelists, remind them rather, that post the 2014 judgment of the Honorable High Court Allahabad, and a special investigation team was put in place, which was under the CEO of Noida Authority, which found that 12 to 15 of the authorities, officers and functionaries were involved in this matter. Following this, another special high-level committee was set up, which found out that approximately 25 officers and functionaries of the department were involved in this matter, and FIRs were lodged against all these.
So you are saying you took action.
All these accused.
Okay, you took action. Tuhin Sinha, Samajwadi Party says we took action. What did the BJP do? The allegation is that the BJP was hand in gloves with the builders and the BJP was taking donation. That's the allegation against your party.
But these are funny allegations. If in the last 8 years you see a cleaner realty sector, it is because of a series of measures we have taken to weed out corruption from the realty sector, whether it was the RERA Act of 2016, whether it was diligent efforts to flush out black money, which was the hallmark of political parties pre-2012. You are aware of the kind of benami properties some of these opposition politicians would buy at that point of time. So we have taken every measure to clean the realty sector, which was not the case pre-2014. And again, like I said, it is for you to verify the exact date when the final irresponsible amendment was made to increase 24 stories to 40 stories. But the fact is that from 2012, March 15th, when Akhilesh Yadav came to power, did he take any measure to negate the decision? Even for a moment, if you give that benefit of doubt and say, let us assume that the decision was taken 10 days before he was sworn in as Chief Minister, Samajwadi Party could have done its bit. So today whatever they are doing is just an eyewash.
Whatever you're doing is just an eyewash. A quick rebuttal.
Yeah, I think the eyewash is that after finding that 25 people were involved, 25 officers and functionaries of the department were involved and lodging FIRs against them, the Samajwadi Party was unable to form the government, and since 2017, no action. And I repeat, just to remind my co-panelists, no action was taken by the BJP in these 6 years to do anything about these 25 people who were accused, who were found guilty.
And that is the main question, isn't it? That should be the main. That should be the focus. That should be the focus. The towers have been raised. They have been called the symbol of corruption. Yes, political parties are blaming each other, Tuhin Sinha. But what about individuals who allowed the corrupt practices to take place? What about the corrupt people? How many of them are facing legal heat today?
We move as per law. From 2014 onwards, the entire case is sub judice. But if new people are found to be guilty, there is no way action will not be taken against it. Like I said, I can list out a series of measures we have undertaken in the last 8 years to weed out corruption from the realty sector. Otherwise, these violations by printers were commonplace. Supertech may have been an exception where you see the entire building being demolished, but there were umpteen cases from all builders of violations because of the strong builder, bureaucrat, politician lobby pre-2014. We have seen that, and the credit for that should go to us.
This is very interesting. This is very interesting. Everybody claims that they acted as per law, whether it's the political parties, the politicians, the bureaucrats, the authorities, and if everybody was acting as per law, following the norms, then how did what was supposed to be a dream home become a symbol of corruption, and today is being called the graft tower, which has been raised? If everybody was acting as per law and following all the norms, these towers would not have existed. Thank you very much to Sameer Singh for joining us on the broadcast. Tuhin Sinha will continue with us for debate number 2 as well.